guard, halt! Left, hey! Order, on!
Let's recite our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red gleam amongst bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. That was Stephanie Davis. You may be relaxed. Sit down a minute there. I obviously did not serve in the U.S. military, but I am a brother. I served in Her Majesty's Royal Navy, and it considered a joy and a privilege and an honor to be here with you today. This is not my first time at this wall, nor at the wall in D.C. It holds special memories. The purpose of this has nothing to do with government. The traveling wall is privately funded. It is funded by the U.S. citizens, the men and women who gave, who fought, who left, who didn't come back, and those that did, and those that want to remember today and keep on remembering. There are over 58,000 names on the wall. 37 of the names are from Champaign County. You'll notice that there's a table of flags up here, and there's another table of flags down on the east end of the wall. There's 1,620 flags. Each flag has a name on it. It is the request of the Wall Committee, the Traveling Wall Committee, that you take one of these flags home. The names that are on them are still today missing in action. Take a soldier home. There will be, at the end, there'll be a special gift for the Vietnam era vets. I will share a little bit more of that towards the end. But I did want you to know that this is your traveling wall of your brothers, sisters, moms, dads, grandmas, and grandpas. Now we'll have Brian Romanowski, First Baptist, give the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we are here today to honor the memory of those who have given their lives in service to this great nation of ours. Thank you for bringing this memorial to our community to honor the fallen and to bring healing to the family and friends of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Gracious God, may your spirit be present in this place and provide the comfort and peace that you and you alone can bring. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Honor guard. Breathe. Breath.
Now we have, I was told that I had to introduce her this way. Lil Sis. She is the chaplain for Veterans Music Ministry, and she's going to sing a song called Welcome Home.
He's a brother, a soldier, a young man grown older. A flag is raised, he's quiet for a time, while memories fly through a veteran's mind. He's a soldier, a brother, a young man who left his childhood home. He's a hero, for things we'll never know. It's been a long time coming. Welcome home. Understand the tears that sometimes flow for things he'll never share and hopes you'll never know. But he loves his country from sea to shining sea, and he paid the price, sacrifice, so his children could be free. He's a soldier, a brother, a young man who left his childhood home. He's a hero, but things we'll never know. It's been a long time coming. Welcome home. It's been a long time coming. Welcome home.
Welcome home. Great words. Our keynote speaker for this evening, I have a picture up here, and this is the way I met him many years ago. There's all kinds of information here about him. Basically, what you need to know. Mark served in the United States Army, and that included a tour of Vietnam. And I know that as he comes up to talk to you right now, he's going to share his heart. Mark Lipton.
read their notes. First of all, I usually only speak to a group of 12 people at a time. And so this is like, wow. So I got a lot of juries to convince. Secondly, I was really honored and humbled when I got a phone call asking me to be the keynote speaker. Dick Boralio was the one that asked me, and he mentioned that the first person that they had asked, a Vietnam veteran with the Medal of Honor, was unable to be here tonight, and so they were calling me. So I want to take this opportunity to tell all of you, open in the public, I am not a Medal of Honor winner, but I have vivid memories of Vietnam. I have vivid memories of the people I served with. I have vivid memories of what was going on in this country. And it was sort of a rude awakening for me because when the Vietnam War really began to take off in the early 60s, I was just starting high school. By the time I graduated from college, it was 1968, and I'm sure there are a lot of people here that remember some of the events of 1968. And I think the first one that I remember was 1968 in January was the Tet Offensive in Vietnam. We also had the assassinations of Dr. Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. We had our sitting president announce he wasn't running for re-election. We had, I suppose from a rather personal point of view, the abolition of graduate school deferments. And by May of '68, after I graduated, I was accepted to Northwestern Law School, got to law school in August, and got my draft notice in September. I remember going to the law school and telling them that I was dropping out of law school, that I wanted my tuition back because I was going into the Army. And they said, oh, well, the Army will defer entry so you can finish the semester, and we can keep our money. And I said, no, thank you. I want to go now. And I certainly don't want to go off for a couple of years and then come back as a second semester freshman anyway. I grew up in the city of Chicago. Up until the summer of '68, I guess I can't say that I gave much thought to the war in Vietnam, but I certainly began thinking about it once I got in the Army. I am not by nature a particularly athletic or strong person, which I think was probably one of the reasons why I was sent to Fort Polk, Louisiana, which I'm sure some of the veterans here will remember as Tigerland, birthplace of the infantryman for Vietnam. Lovely sign to see when you're getting there at 3 in the morning. The months at Fort Polk took me through basic training and advanced infantry training, and then I got the honor of going to Fort Campbell, Kentucky for Armored Personnel Carrier School. I actually graduated first in the class and never saw an armored personnel carrier again other than from a distance while I was in Vietnam. So I get over to Vietnam, land, go through in-country training, and get sent up, but again, names that most people won't know, but Dao Chiang, and there were about 7 or 8, 9 new guys on the plane. We get off, we're lined up, and the CO comes out, and he goes down the line and picks 3 of us. The unique thing that all 3 of us had was we were the tallest, so that meant we were going into reconnaissance. I was with the Big Red One. After the Big Red One, I was with the Ordnance Corps in Long Binh, and by the time I got to Long Binh, I believe that Long Binh was the biggest U.S. Army base in the world. Lots of people. There were regular Army people that had enlisted, volunteered to be there. There were the draftees who were there because their country called. They weren't running out to volunteer, but when the country called, they came. And in preparation for this, I looked up some statistics and found a statistic that, despite what others might think, apparently 97% of Americans called to serve in Vietnam served and served with honor. And I think that's impressive. What was unimpressive, and it's come up on several of the things already tonight, what was unimpressive was how the Vietnam veteran was treated when he or she returned from Vietnam. I personally didn't have any terrible experiences, but there were some. People would look at me in law school and, you're older than the rest of us. Where were you? I was in Vietnam. Oh, fine. And that was the end of it. But other people got called baby killers as they got off the airplane. Things that they didn't deserve, things that they didn't do. And while I understand in a democracy, part of the greatness of our country is the ability to protest, hopefully peacefully, but protest things that we don't agree with, but that's going too far. Just like today, and I mention this because it's something that I find personally offensive, are the people that go to the funerals of servicemen killed in service today and protest at their funerals, and I would hope nobody would do that. I hope in the future that servicemen returning home from service, whether it's Vietnam, Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq, wherever it is, they deserve to be welcomed home, and they deserve to be thanked for their service. And very few people who haven't served really don't know what it's like to be in the Army. That was a shock to my system by itself, forget Vietnam. And then going to Vietnam and serving for a period of time in the infantry. Reminds me of one story I'll share with you, and that is that when I was in the 1st Infantry Division in a place called Dao Giang, our platoon shared a base camp with a Vietnamese Army group. We guarded half the compound, they guarded the other half of the compound. And we all stayed in the bunkers at the perimeter of the compound. And then one night, 2 or 3 in the morning, there was this huge explosion, and which obviously woke us up. And then I heard debris falling on top of the bunker, and we jump out of bed, and I will confess I wasn't as fast as my bunker mate, but we got out of there, only to find out that by the time we'd gotten out of there, they figured out what had happened, which is a bolt of lightning had struck our perimeter defense of a 55-gallon drum of what's called flue gas, setting up a huge explosion. And apparently our response to this was so pathetic, they moved us out of that base camp, and they moved us into the main base camp at Dao Giang, where they gave us nice tents to live in with rather large wooden blast walls outside the tent. And this base camp, or this camp, got ordered every day, and we happened to be the only available space was right next to the ammo dump. So that didn't give a lot of us warm, fuzzy feelings over there. Ultimately, I was fortunate. I was able to get out of the 1st Infantry Division, not because I didn't like the people there, but or the respect what they were doing, but because I would be more of a hindrance in that capacity than a great help. At one time, I was the machine gun ammo bearer, and we ended up in a firefight. And the veterans here will know what's wrong with this picture. I'm the machine gun ammo bearer, and I'm on the right side of the machine gun. And that's the wrong side. So that forced me to have to get over onto the other side while being shot at. And I'm thinking, this is not good. These guys deserve better. I could do better for them elsewhere, and ended up in an ordnance company in Longdon. I'm proud of the service that I did for the country. I'm proud of the service that everybody who went to Vietnam, everybody who served in the armed forces during the Vietnam era, including a very close friend of mine who managed to somehow get stationed in Charleston, South Carolina for 2 years. I'm proud of our servicemen today, and without them, where would we be? I certainly wouldn't be up here speaking to you. Again, I don't want to speak too long. I've talked to Dick and Bill and others that one of the problems at other ceremonies such as this, that sometimes the speakers go on and on and on, and I don't want to be known as one of those speakers. I may be boring, but at least it'll be short and boring. Hello? Boy, it's a good time for me to stop talking. I think this is a sign. Again, I want to welcome all of the servicemen, the retired servicemen, I guess I wouldn't consider myself retired, just discharged servicemen, relatives. I hope you take the time to find the names of friends, loved ones on the wall. And for those of you who haven't, like me, I hope we all get to DC to see the real thing in the mall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. You guys got to remember one thing, he's a lawyer. So if you need someone, call him. The next portion of our program is the laying of the wreaths, and I know we've got a couple of Sea Cadets that'll be escorting the wreaths. We also have some of them standing at the wall, and for my brother sailors, fair winds and following seas. You understand what that means. And we could have Phil Willem.
Honor guard. Peace. Hut. Exam. On.
Detail. At a route step. Forward.
Before the next portion here, I told you I was going to share a little bit about the pin. The pin will be given out at the end of this ceremony, and let me grab a hold of it here. The pin is for all era veterans. If you served in the military during the years of Vietnam, please come and get the pin. And here's the message of the pin. A grateful nation thanks and honors you is embossed on the back, closest to the heart of the wearer. Also, the official name of the commemoration is included to remind each veteran that this is a national initiative, and this lapel pin is the nation's lasting memento of thanks. So we want you to pick yours up. What we're going to do right now is, over here to my left, is what's called the mission table. And Brian Barnard is going to share about that.
Thank you very much. It is my honor to be here, and we will tell you about this table momentarily. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her oppressors. The white tablecloth draped over the table represents the purity of their response to our country's call to arms. The empty chair depicts an unknown face, representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine, but all who are not here with us. The round table shows that our concern for them is never ending. The Bible represents faith in a higher power and the pledge to our country, founded as one nation under God. The single red rose reminds us of their families and loved ones. The red ribbon represents the love of our country, which inspired them to answer the nation's call. The candle with the yellow ribbon symbolizes the everlasting hope for a joyous reunion with those yet accounted for. The slice of lemon reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt represents the tears of their families. And the inverted wine glass reminds us that our comrades cannot be with us to drink a toast with us.
This concludes this part of the service. There will be a little bit more later on this evening. We would encourage you to not only to meet with some of these men that are here to represent their branches and the ladies of the service. Take a look at the wall.